I want us to enjoy friendships. I'm here genuinely to convince somebody that you can't do life alone. No one person can be your everything. It's up. Hi everybody, and welcome to the second video of this channel. Alright, I think let's just dive into it. So I had an epiphany that, oh my god, I have only like 5 friends, and my world of friendship is shrinking and shrinking, and I still have a long life and I'm going to be very, very lonely. That thought was scary. I remember telling my friend, I think I whined about it every single day, or every single time me and my one other friend spoke. I talked to her like, oh my god, I need to connect more with people. I just wanted people who would just bring their energy into my life, and I bring energy into theirs, and we contribute towards having a very contentful life, you know. And so from that point, I think I was desperate. I was desperate to make friends, but at the same time I was struggling to make friends. And I was asking myself, I was wondering, why is it now that I'm at university I'm struggling to make friends like this, when in high school, especially early years of my high school, I considered myself as someone who was very likable. I considered myself very likable because I think I was very nice, and I was especially outspoken, and I hadn't had any identity crisis then that I would struggle to conversate with people, to converse with people, because a lot of things were new, a lot of things were playful, and there wasn't a lot of pressure during those years, and so it was easy. So when I had that epiphany, and I realized as well that it was harder than I thought to make friends, I wanted to find out exactly what the issue was. Where was all of this rooted, right? And I got to realize that I think it was the manner at which it was the way I was raised. I grew up in a very lovely home with both my parents and one younger sister, and I think we were brought up well all around, morally, spiritually, and just holistically. However, I feel like a place where now looking back I feel like wasn't as good as it seemed, or it seems, as the hyper independence that we were being told in my household, that we don't need friends, that friends are a bad thing because friends cannot be trusted, and it's friends who will only ever deceive you, who will backstab you, and who will bring just a whole host of things in your life. And so friends wasn't a good thing. And also my mom was an example of a person who didn't have many friends where we stay. And I think that was a consequence of the fact that she was married in a whole different province, in a whole different tribe of people, and maybe it was hard for her to connect with people, but she adjusted, and she realized she could do life alone, along with just us as her immediate family. And I guess she decided that it's not that bad. I'm doing well, and these kids are gonna do well, obviously, because I'm doing well. But I realized that growing up, because you learn so much about yourself when you grow up, you learn so much about the world, and you learn a lot about the things you want to pursue. And the things I was in pursuit of in my coming of age, I realized I was in pursuit of happiness, and happiness I could find in the little things. I could find in the simplest of things, like journaling, like just having a nice breakfast date by myself, solo date, just a stroll, listening to nice vibey music, or just reading a good book. However, I felt like those things were very isolated, and no matter how much I could try, I don't think I could ever sustain just being in my head, because all of those things required me to be in my head. I may be appreciating the simplest of life, but I'm appreciating it here. I'm not speaking about it. I'm not telling people about the small things that I'm enjoying. And I think conversations are particularly interesting. Those are one of the other things that I find very, very interesting, to have a light-hearted, chatty, fun conversation with someone you genuinely care about, or just someone who's just positive all around, is just a good thing to enjoy. And I enjoyed that, and it was so contrasting to what I've been taught. And so I think that's why even when I met someone whose conversations or energy I resonated with or enjoyed, I don't think I could allow myself to connect with them. I thought, well, it's amazing, we had a great chat, but I don't think I can consider you a friend. And once I had that thought, I wasn't going to contribute anything or to try to force myself to try follow up with the person, so that our conversation could lead to just more than that one meeting, or maybe to just turn into a friendship. And so it was hard, because after that thought, I don't follow up, so therefore I don't make any friends. It's just that one encounter and that's it. I don't consider them a friend, and obviously they can't consider me a friend because I'm not making an effort to try to be their friend. And sometimes I find people who are also taken by me as well, and so they make an effort to start that friendship with me, but I'm just backing out, saying, oh no, I this isn't what I was taught at home. I think it's a lot of work. I think I set a lot of boundaries around myself, telling myself that if I don't become dependent on this person is not going to be dependent on me. And if I don't ask any favors from this person, because friendships are just people you could go to for support and everything, so I would not want any favors, maybe even not tangible objects, but just emotional support. Or just, I didn't want to do that, because I felt like now there's an expectation for me to return it back, but I don't want that, because once I return it back again, now I'm gonna also have an expectation for them to do that thing for me, and when they don't do it, it's gonna be a whole thing. But I was standing in my way of making great connections, deep connections with people, and that wasn't a good thing. I didn't like that at all. I wanted to connect with people. I love connecting with people. I love conversations. I love people who pour into me as much as I'm pouring back to them. And most of all, I don't like being lonely. I don't want to be lonely. I think I'm one person who's very self-fulfilled in all aspects. But I feel like it's impossible for me to sustain it for a long time. In the 60 years I'm still to live in this earth, I can't do life alone. It's impossible for me to do life alone. And I think I'm trying so much to convince you that it is actually important to have friends, but I'm struggling. All I know is that it's very important, and it's meeting people who are just ready to hold your hand first and foremost, and to celebrate you, because celebration is something that you can't do alone. In as much as you feel that you are self-fulfilled, you're self-sufficient, you can't celebrate alone. And you require people who have seen and experienced the bad stuff in your life and the crazy moments that you've been, you breaking down and you building yourself up, and for them to stand and testify of how great it is to see you doing well for yourself after everything that has happened. I think that is just a lovely concept, to have people who are just cheering for you. I don't think life is of any value if there aren't people who are just at the back and watching you and celebrating every move you make, and just everything you do for them is exciting, and it's just they just want to see you do well. I don't know how I can explain that concept in a way that will sit well with you, and you would understand that life is not worth doing alone. And this is something that I've been hearing a lot in this year, in the podcasts and the books that I've been reading, that life is not meant to be done alone. We are not supposed to do everything alone. I know most of us have been taught that we can do well by ourselves, and we should do well by ourselves. If we can't do well by ourselves, that means there's something wrong with us. But that's wrong. Well, we can't. I think in the inaugural podcast episode by Michelle Obama and former President Barack Obama, in the Michelle Obama podcast, that's where they were speaking about community, and the relationships people have with community. We can't build things by ourselves. We can't build infrastructures by ourselves. We can't educate the world by ourselves. We can't be the voice of any movement that we are advocating for, and we hope to teach and educate the entire world by ourselves. And that's the same with everything in general. It's not only about infrastructures and business and work and all of that, but it's everything in your life. We aren't meant to do life by ourselves, and I think that's why it's important for us. We know it's important for us to have and to sustain relationships with our relatives or sisters, siblings, and or parents. I think that's the fact that you see and understand the importance of maintaining a relationship with your parents, whom at this age aren't particularly being the sole provider in your life, or providing for your life, but you still are committed into making the relationship with them as good as it is, or as good as you want it to become. It's because you realize that something in you wants to invite them still in your life, because they provide a lot of value. And I'm here genuinely to convince somebody that you can't do life alone. And the same respect you have for that relationship with your parents, I think you need to allow yourself to have that respect for friendships as well. And that's when you're gonna welcome friendships in your life that are going to be worthwhile and valuable, because there's something so satisfying by surrounding yourself with greatness, because it pushes you to become better. We are humans. There are limits to how far we can push ourselves, but we need external motivation. How beautiful is it to surround yourself with so much greatness that it just pulls you from wherever you are. It's a beautiful experience, and I want us to enjoy friendships. I want us to enjoy having people who are going to cheer for us as loud as we are going to cheer for them. I want us to experience beautiful things with people, and I want to speak about this point, which will be a bit controversial because my parents are gonna watch this video, but I think that's it speaks to maybe growing up and realizing that we want to get into marriages, and it's that thing of thinking that you think you're gonna find that one person who's gonna be everything to you. And I think that's a very, very twisted way of thinking about it, because no one person can be your everything. It's absolutely ludicrous for us to have that kind of expectations. And once you create pockets of friendships with different people in all different areas of your life, you get to realize that different people are bringing different things into your life, and not one person can be everything all around. And once you have an expectation to get into marriage and meeting one person who's going to be your everything, that's the beginning of the end, because it's impossible. My sister is not my everything. My mom is not my everything. I think I'm switching it around, but what I'm trying to say is that they cannot be everything to me, because there are certain things I don't share with them, and I only share with other people. And the reason why I'm not sharing with them is because I feel like they can't be any reception of what I'm saying at that particular time, and someone else will receive it. And I think that's the beauty of it. I think friendships are beautiful. I think it's important for us to have friends, and I think whatever way you were brought up to think that you need to be independent and friends can be trusted, I think you're also doubting the fact that you have the potential and you are being given this opportunity to choose for yourself whoever one you want to invite in your life, and you don't trust yourself enough to have an eye for those people, to see those people, and to choose people who have your best interests at heart. And I don't think we should doubt ourselves to that extent, knowing how educated, how smart, and how just loving, beautiful, and kind we are as people. I think we need to experience life deeply in that sense. We need to experience life in that way, and that's one other way we're gonna truly enjoy life. And then this year, I think that's one of the things that I've been relearning and learning again and again, and just making an effort and being intentional about how I'm going to make these friendships. And that's the reason why I've been reaching out to a lot of my old friends, people who have contributed a lot into making my days in high school, in primary, and even before we went to school, just people I knew in my younger years. And if they are willing to receive me back in their lives, I'm willing to to go into their lives as well and just experience, because these are people who have brought me so much joy, and I just want to connect with them again. And I know there's one thing that really stops us from reaching out to people is because of how different life or the trajectory our lives might have taken. But I truly, absolutely believe that we shouldn't let our success and our failures to be the things that dictate the people we associate with, because life is crazy and it's always going to be crazy, and we can't isolate ourselves. Let's never isolate ourselves. Friendships are beautiful. Connect with people. This thing, life, is not meant to be done alone. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And one thing I appreciate more than anything, I think it's passion, the power of passion, because I had decided that I was going to make a completely different video, but here I am speaking about friendships, and I'm so rejuvenated and excited to share everything that I've been learning and gathering, and the things I've been doing to maintain my friendships. And I think this is one of my favorite videos as well. So thank you so much. If this is the kind of content you enjoy seeing, please do consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and I will respond to any of the questions and the feedback that you give me. And if there is anything, absolutely anything that you think I can do to improve in my channel, or things that you wish for me to speak about, just let me know on the comments what's the other things you'd like me to speak about. I enjoy talking about these things, and so I can't wait for you guys to share with me everything that you want me to talk about. So thank you so much. Let me not go on a ramble. So thank you so much. I love you all.